What mistakes are they going to make with pronouns in sentence correction questions? Well, sometimes they will use incorrect pronouns, but sometimes they will make improper use of pronouns. In other words, they'll break the basic rule governing pronouns, which is never use a pronoun unless it is very clear what noun in the sentence it refers to. In other words, every pronoun must have what we call a referent, a noun in the sentence that it refers to. If it's not in the sentence, you can't use the pronoun. And if there's any ambiguity, then you can't use it either. All right? And ideally, the pronoun should logically link with the noun in the previous part. In other words, if you're using a pronoun as a subject of one clause, one independent clause, it should refer to the subject of the first independent clause. Relative pronouns must refer to nouns that are just before that relative pronoun. All right, well, we're going to get some practice here. Now, we're going to look at some very typical misused pronouns. Yvonne has 10 years of experience selling micro-hard software, which makes him, now, what makes him an ideal replacement? The software or the experience? I think it refers to the experience, the 10 years of experience selling the software. So, this which does not refer to software. All right? It does not refer to software. So, I would not use which here. I would not use a relative pronoun. It would be best to say, Yvonne has 10 years of experience selling micro-hard software, comma, making him an ideal replacement for simply using a gerund after the comma. All right. So we can say making him an ideal replacement. Very good. All right, now the next one. Although Harriet's 5-year-old daughter is still in hospital, she managed to attend this morning's budget meeting. Now here we have a pronoun she. Now it has to refer to a noun in the sentence. Harriet's 5-year-old daughter. But probably it doesn't mean that. It probably is referring to Harriet, the mother, I should hope, unless the 5-year-old daughter usually attends budget meetings. So I don't like this she either. And I would look for a way to restructure it. I could simply say, although Harriet's 5-year-old daughter is still in hospital, Harriet managed, so replacing she with Harriet. Or I could say, Harriet managed to attend this morning's budget meeting, although her 5-year-old daughter is still in hospital. Or even saying, yes, I think those are the best ways. Good. Now, this next one here is a little more subtle. The economy is expected to recover, though it is unlikely. Now, somebody has circled she and said, well, that refers clearly to Harriet. But the only noun I see in the previous part of the sentence that refers to a person is Harriet's 5-year-old daughter. All right, so be careful with this. It cannot refer to a person in the possessive part. All right? Okay, now the next one. The economy is expected to recover, though it is unlikely that it will regain last year's momentum. Now this looks relatively innocent. However, not good style to have the same pronoun not referring to the same thing. This first it is impersonal. The second it clearly refers to the economy. So it would be much better to say the economy is expected to recover, though it is unlikely to regain last year's momentum. it is unlikely to regain. Next one, the cost of living rose by 5% in 2006, which is twice as high. Now, what does it refer to? 2006? Or 5%? That's not good either. Perhaps saying the cost of living rose by 5% in 2006, an increase that is twice as high, using an explicit noun there. Next one. Now you say that which refers to the cost of living. Well, by the proximity rule, it should refer to 2006. And I don't know whether the which refers to the 5%. So 5% is twice as high as something else. Much better to be more explicit here. All right, next one. Raising children in the 21st century is much more difficult than it was for our grandparents. Now, what does it refer to? Raising children. All right, raising children in the 21st century is much more difficult than raising children, was for our grandparents. So this is fine. And lastly, pharmaceutical companies are under pressure to cut the cost of malaria treatment, which leads to, now this which, after the comma, so dangerous in the GMAT exam. What does it refer to? Malaria treatment, or the fact that they're under pressure? And again, we've seen that the perfect solution. Pharmaceutical companies are under pressure to cut the cost of malaria treatment, leading to, and this pressure leads to, more explicit.